Namo Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Respected Master Sangha, respected Ven.Prof.Dr. Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar. Dhamma process consider the all participants in our Institute Dhamma Elite Club. Very good afternoon. My name is Tom Young. It's really honorable privilege and happy for me to be the moderator and interactive talk and discussion today. So before starting our virtual meeting and dialogue, I would like to invite all of us to put your palms together to recite the Buddhist name for Chile Tamil Pali language. But I request Ven.Prof.Dr. to write your voice first, please.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Thank you very much, Ben. Next, I would like to announce the tentative program today as follows. 1. Introducing guest participant. 2. Opening speech and introducing the chief guest by Dhammasami Tỉnh Pháp. 3. Main speech by our chief guest, Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director, Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar. 4. Question and answer session. 5. Vote of thanks by Dhamma Baraza Wang Thang. 6. Closing program by traditional song of the club, I Have Arrived, I'm Home. In this meaningful and interactive meeting today, it's really my pleasure and honorable for us to welcome 1. Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director, Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar. 2. Venerable Dr. Ven.Prof.Dr, founder and president of Institute Dhamma Elite Club, Vietnam. 3. Or Dhamma process consider, or members of the club or Aston. Once again, want to welcome you all to the Grass Virtual meeting today. To entertain our Institute Dhamma Elite Club as well as great, we already our guest speaker today. Now, I would like to invite Dhammasami Tỉnh Pháp for opening remarks and introducing our chief guest. Sida, please, over the mic to you, Sida.
Yeah. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Respected Mahasangha, respected Ven.Prof.Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, dear members of the Institute Dhamma Elite Club, Dhamma brother and sister, very good afternoon to you all. First of all, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome Ven.Prof.Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director, Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar, to our Institute Dhamma Elite Club, London School of Buddhist Study, Vietnam. Thank you so much, Venerable, for your kind acceptance of our invitation as the guest speaker today. Let me take a few minutes to give you on the brief introduction of the School of Buddhist Study and Institute Dhamma Elite Club. As we know, the School of Buddhist Study is one of the top schools in the field of Buddhist study in Vietnam, which sends a larger number of students to free Vietnam. Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City, Huế and Hanoi capital. Our students are usually a top student at the entrance exam for graduate program in this university. For the betterment of usage of English, Institute Dhamma Elite Club was founded by Dr. Ven.Prof.Dr in School of Buddhist Study as President in 2020 with participation of more than 200 students. We are active in learning Dhamma English under the form of Buddhist English Club that we use English as a medium language to understand the Buddha teaching along with improvement of four necessary skills of reading, speaking, listening, and writing for our members. This will a strong foundation and valuable preparation for them to study a bright future. It's a basic step for all members of the club to have a good chance to learn Dharma through English and to understand English under the form of Dharma. We will have a good approach to prominent speakers, scholars, teachers, and professors in future Buddhist study from different countries in different Buddhist traditions. Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India for Theravada tradition, Vietnam, China, Spain, and Korea for Mahayana Buddhism, and Mongolia, Bhutan, Tibet for Vipassana Buddhist tradition. Today is our 25th dialogue with Ven.Prof.Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami in 2022 in the series of weekly international meeting of the Nguyên Thủy Karma Abundant School of Buddhist Study in Vietnam. It's a with great pleasure Ven.Prof.Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar, has accepted our invitation as guest speaker to have a talk with our 200 members of club on the content of. Once again, thank you for joining us and welcome you, Ven. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Tần Pháp. Now, may I request Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar, to give your main general Buddhist psychology today. Over the mic to you, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you for having me as a guest speaker at your school. Plainly speaking, I'm very happy to be with you today for the first time. Before we begin, I would like to thank Venerable Dr. the founder of the school and the member of the academic staff for having me. Just ago, our moderator introduced the school. That is what is the purpose of the school and how the school provide the Buddhist student, etc. I got some information from there. This is very good. This kind of school we should have all around the Buddhist country because it can provide language, especially English language, to study the Dhamma in English language. With the benefits of the learning English, we can, as a Buddhist monk and nun, we can propagate Dhamma in English throughout around the world. This is very good to have this kind of school. First of all, I really congrats to the founder of the school, Venerable Dhammasami. This is just reminding how important your mission. The moderator introduced myself. I also would like to say a few words about what I have been doing so far. I have been teaching Buddhist psychology for nearly 2 decades. So as a Buddhist psychologist or Buddhist scholar, I really happy, to have a chance to share my knowledge related to my field, my specialized. Today I'm going to, I'm not focusing on any topics. I just want to introduce the concept of Buddhist psychology, how and why, and that's all. Not particular subject or topic. I just focus on the general topic, and for the purpose of introducing Buddhist psychology to you.
Thank you. Chuyện gì vậy?
First of all, I just want to tell you. For the beginner, for the beginner, those who do not have any knowledge about psychology or Buddhist psychology. Usually, many psychology scholars defining the word psychology as the study of mind, the study of emotion, the study of behavior, etc. So when you see this kind of concept or definition, we can see this, we can understand that the Buddha teaching also very similar to the Western psychology or general psychology. Why? Because, as you know, the Buddha teaching, the fundamental is to modify our behavior, to modify our emotion, our feeling, our thoughts, etc. This is very fundamental teaching of the Buddha, how to purify one mind or thoughts or emotion, whatever you call, and how to modify your bad behavior to into good behavior, etc. When you see this fundamental teaching of the Buddha or the purpose of the Buddha, you can see the similarity between general psychology or Western psychology and the Buddha teaching or the Buddhist philosophy. So this is that's why I say Buddhist psychology. That is the definition or the concept of what we call Buddhist psychology. So come to the regarding the concept of mind. When you come to when you're talking about the concept of mind or psychology, when you look at from the Western perspective or thoughts, there are many concepts about mind. There are many philosophy or psychology talking about mind. But here, I just want to focus, or I just want to emphasize Buddhist concept of mind. As you know, as a Buddhist student, people like you, as a Buddhist monk and nun, you already know. The basic of the Dhamma knowledge. Whether you belong to Mahayana tradition or whether you belong to Theravada tradition or Vajrayana, we all have the common, we all have the same fundamental. For example, Panchakanta or 5 aggregates, there are 5. Our body is combining with form and mind. So we call it Panchakanta or 5 aggregates. So these 5 aggregates, you already know. Number 1 is Rupa, that is form, described as a matter or body or material form or of a being or any accident. This is Rupa form. Number 2 is feeling or emotion. But here I don't want to use the term emotion. I just use the term feeling or Vedana. This is referring to the awareness of the form. Number 3 is perception. In Pali term or Sanskrit term, we call it sanya. Described as the process of seeing or noting or labeling sculpture, something. Number 4 is in Sanskrit or Pali term, we call it sankhara. that is formation, the condition, thoughts, and feeling triggered by an object. Number 5, the last one is consciousness. We call it vijnana or vijnana in Sanskrit or Pali term. This is a kind of awareness of an object. This is the concept of mind or of physical or psychological, or the physical or the body or mind, whatever you call. So number 1 is related to the physical form. This is body. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 is related to the feeling, or I mean related to the mind, concerned with the mind, and that we call it psychology. So this is the concept of mind, or the concept of physical or psychological in Buddhist philosophy. So that's why I take the Dhamma as I study the Dhamma looking at from the psychological point of view. That's why I said the Buddha fundamental teaching, or the Buddhist philosophy, or the Buddhist psychology is very related to the Western concept of psychology in one way or another. So next I will discuss for further detail about the concept. So before I go, I just would like to hear from you how much you understand what the message I have given so far. So anyone have any question, or whether not clear, or whether you want to give a suggestion, or whether you have a question, or whether you are not clear, can somebody jump in and tell me something before I go? What I have been talking so far, how do you understand? No, any suggestion or any question? Okay.
Yes.
Can I continue?
Yes, please continue, Badaji. Please proceed.
Okay.
And we have a Q&A section later. Next.
Okay. So here, I already explained to you what is psychology, what is the meaning of psychology so far. I have been talking what is psychology, what is the meaning of psychology. And I also talking about what is the concept of body and mind, what is the concept of physical and psychological from the Buddhist point of view. This is what I have been talking so far. So now I'm going to continue to talk about what are the rules of Buddhist psychology. What are the rules of Buddhist psychology? This is very important. As a young, as a Buddhist monk and nun, you're already familiar with the concept of Four Noble Truths. From my point of view, of course, from the other Buddhist scholar point of view, they see the Four Noble Truths. They pick up the Four Noble Truths as a rules of Buddhist psychology. So let me explain to you a little bit. Looking at from the psychological point of view. Number 1 is, as you know, the Four Noble Truths talking about the nature of suffering, the nature of dukkha or dukkha. Number 2 is talking about the origin of suffering or origin of dukkha. The number 3 of Four Noble Truths, talking about how to stop this suffering, how to stop this suffering. The number 4 is talking about the way how to the way leading to the cessation of suffering, that is the path or the methods or the therapy, you can say. So now going back to the, because the Buddhist term is, you're already familiar with the Buddhist term, the Four Noble Truths is dukkha, and the origin of dukkha, and the cessation of dukkha, and the way to leading the cessation of dukkha. So now when you look at from the medical point of view or psychological point of view, you may see the concept, you may see the similarity of how they use the term. Here, for the first noble truth, they use the symptoms. As a doctor, first of all, when they meet the client, when they meet the patient, they will examine what is the nature of disease, or the nature of disease. What is really happened to you? What kind of disease do you have, etc. That is the first thing. When you meet the doctor will examine your symptom. So number 2, what the doctor do is they try to understand the cause, or in other words, they try to understand the diagnosis. In Buddhist term, they try to understand the cause of disease, the cause of Dhamma, for the Buddhist concept. So number 3, when you meet the doctor will try to how to cure. After they know the cause of your disease, they try to understand the possibility of cure or prognosis. They call it in medical term, prognosis, or the how to cure your disease. So the final one, after the doctor knowing your disease, the nature of your disease, or the cause of your disease, and he or she will try, the doctor will try to give you prescription. That means what kind of medicine she or he going to offer you to cure your disease. That is what the doctor do for the client or for the patient. So this is when you study the concept of medical point of view. When they examine the client or the patient, very similar to the Buddha, try to analyze, try to understand the nature of human being, how we suffer, what is the cause of suffering, and how to stop this suffering, and what is the way to stop this suffering, etc. That is very similar, not similar, I mean exactly the same, the Buddha teaching of the Four Noble Truths, I mean. So that's why many Buddhist scholars, of course, I take Four Noble Truths as the rules for the study of Buddhist psychology, because it's very similar to the medical, very similar to doctor analyze the patient disease, or So that's why many scholars, of course, including me, we take and we pick Four Noble Truths as a rules for the study of Buddhist psychology. This is the second one I have been talking. So for the next, I just would like to examine or analyze a little bit what is the past. You already know when you study the Four Noble Truths, in there you will find the past is Noble Eightfold Path. But here I'm not going to explain to you what is the Noble Eightfold Path one by one. I just summarize and give you the important important message what the psychological use the term. So when the doctor know your nature of disease, or when they understand the patient disease, what they are going to do is they try to now going back to psychology. As a psychologist or as a Buddhist psychologist, what we do is we try to aware and careful, suggest our emotion, our intention, jhana, and our action, behavior. And this is what the Western psychology do, and what we Buddhist psychologists do so far. And as a Buddhist, of course, looking as from the Buddhist psychological point of view, most Buddhist scholars, they use meditation as a tool for COVID, our suffering, our anger, our anxiety, our depression, our craving, our anxiety, our stress, etc. This is what most Buddhist scholars takes meditation as a tool for coping with for modifying our behavior, for modifying our thoughts, our emotion, our feeling. That is most Buddhist scholars try to do. So summarizing what I have been talking so far, I'm talking what is the roots of Buddhist psychology, why we call Buddhist psychology, and what is the path to deal with our emotion, our feeling, our thoughts, our behavior. Most scholars to take meditation as a tool, as a therapy tool to cope with our emotion, such as anger, depression, anxiety, suicide, etc. That is what they do so far. That is what I'm talking so far. So for the next topics, or for the next concept, here let me go back to the Western concept of psychology. Let me go back to general concept of psychology. As you all know, psychology is there are many branches under the umbrella of psychology. There are many branches. So I'm very sorry I could not share my PowerPoint with you because of the computer has some problem. So I could not cope with it. So of course I will go slowly and step by step and topic by topic. Just I will pick up some of them, not all. In psychology, there are many branches. Number one is clinical psychology. Number two is biopsychology. Number three, educational psychology. Number four, cognitive psychology. Number five, forensic psychology. Number six, social psychology. Number seven, industrial psychology. Number eight, health psychology. Number nine, experimental psychology. Number 10, developmental psychology. This is, I just pick up some of them which related to the, related to my talking today for the purpose of introduce some concept to you. First of all, I just, emphasize a little bit about clinical psychology, the number one. The clinical psychology, the nature of clinical psychology is they try to, coping with the client, such as counseling or psychotherapy. That's kind of method they try to approaching or coping with the client. Counseling. This term is, the term is maybe strange to Buddhists. Of course, the concept is not strange to, not new to Buddhists, because when you study the whole Tripitaka, you will come across the Sajjadaka, and you will see many client and characteristic and emotion disorder, many kinds of characteristics in Jataka. So the Buddhist scholar or the Buddhist monk and the Buddhist nun during the Buddha time, including the Buddha himself, they see the people, they see the client and approaching them and counseling them and guiding them. This is the concept is already in Buddhism. The term counseling is maybe new for us, but the concept is not new. We already have this concept over 2,500 years ago. The concept is nothing new for Buddhists, I can say. So you people, as a Buddhist monk and then as a young scholar, you have many things to do. Related to Western concept of counseling and Buddhist concept of counseling. You can study them comparative. You can study with the comparative, or you can purely study Buddhist counseling. Many things you can do if you choose Buddhist psychological field, for your study. There are many things to do. You see, that's why whenever I have a lecture with my student, especially postgraduate student, I always encouraging them to, to pick up and to choose some counseling, because in the modern world, whether in Western or Eastern or Asia or Europe or Latin America, Now the counseling job is very, very good business. You see, in terms of business, very good business. You see, even in Asia, now very popular, the concept of counseling. So as a Buddhist, as a Buddhist monk, and then one day we will go, Buddhist monk, and then when you talk in religious terms, we are missionary people. So what people want from us is when they're suffering mentally, they approaching us, they want counseling from us. So as a Buddhist psychology scholar, I emphasize counseling is very important subject for Buddhist monk and non-people like you to study. Even we don't call ourselves psychologists or counselor or psychotherapist, our job is already, that is a counseling, counseling job or work we already do actually. This is number one, clinical science related to clinical psychology, if you people want to choose. So I will skip biopsychology. This is very wide area, but very wide range. So we can, if you are interested in, we can keep in touch and discuss it for your further study. So now I want to go to educational psychology. Educational psychology, nowadays, educational psychology also very popular among the modern world. This education concept is applied to the school, university, everywhere, the center which related to education. So after you graduate this subject, this major, you can get a job from any education center, such as school, college, institutes, or university. When we study the Buddha teaching, you will come across, when you look at from the educational point of view, you can say that the whole teaching of the Buddha is about education, how to educate people, different level, different level, different characteristic, different emotional level. So let me take one example. I think everyone knows Venerable Rahula, the son of the Buddha. Venerable Rahula, the son of the Buddha. When you study about the Venerable Rahula, you will come across how the Venerable Sariputta and the Buddha and Nawkhamla and other pictures training him, teaching him. You see, when he is in age of 7, they teaching, how the cognitive of child can accept it or perceive it. When he is 12-year-old, 17-year-old, 21-year-old, you see when you study the Sutta and how the monk and the Buddha training and teaching Venerable Rahula, you will come across, you will understand. This is how educate monk, of course the Buddha, training the children, training the child, and counseling the child. This is very, very, I can say, very effective way, effective methods to training, to counseling the children. So this is very interesting, you see. Of course, there are many concepts about education when you study the Tripitaka. So, of course, again, as a young Buddhist scholar, people like a Buddhist student, young student people like some of you, you can pick up, the branch of educational psychology and apply. You can pick up the Buddha Dhamma, the Buddha teaching, apply into educational psychology, or you can do comparative study, or you can purely study Buddhist concept of education. This is many things to do. And as you know, education, education is really, this is related to the whole world, to the whole nation, to, whatever race or nationality you belong to. We are one way or another, we are talking about education every day. So this is very important also. So next topic, cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychology also very popular subject among the Western psychology or general psychology. So we Buddhists also have, many methods how to cope with our perception, our thoughts, our emotion, problem solving, etc. There are many methods in Buddha Dhamma. So you just pick up some subtopic or subtitle and do comparative study, or you can do purely Buddhist study. This is also very important for those people who want to, study cognitive psychology. We also have many material or sources in Buddhism. So this is topic number 3. Now, so now we're going back to the topic number 4, that is social psychology. Social psychology. This social concept also very wide and very important in psychology field, because now the world become a village, become a small village. Vietnam people moved to USA, Burmese people moved to USA, and USA, American people moved to Europe. When you go from one country to another country, or when you settle down one country, as a Burmese, for example, me as a Burmese, when I try to settling down in Vietnam, so I have to learn and I have to patient with the Vietnamese culture and such a foods and the way of living, the way of behaving, many things I have. The mindset of people there, I have to learn a lot. So the social psychology also very popular nowadays. So in Buddha Dhamma, we can find many sources or material to study the social psychology. That's one message. I just want to lead to you. Another topic, industrial psychology. This kind of concept also we can. This psychology also very popular nowadays, because in the factory, in the company, everywhere the working place, you have to have a philosophy or method how to cope with the employee or employer, or how to admit the company. This concept also we can find in Buddha teaching. Let me take one example, like Singalovada Sutta. You guys already familiar with this. This is, I just pick up one sutta. There are many sutta related to this topic. So this branch of psychology also you guys should consider when you choose to study psychology. the number pi or numbers ahead psychology. This concept also very important nowadays, because if you graduate with this higher psychology, you can work as a nurse, as a doctor, as a clinical health center, medical center, and government center. Everywhere you can get a job if you graduate with this this subject, this major. So this kind of concept also we can find in the early Buddhist doctrine. So in the Vinaya, in the Jataka, the story of the Bodhisattva, and the Vinaya, especially in Theravada Vinaya, you will come across the concept of medicine, how the Buddhist monk cure himself. Earlier time, the medicine do not develop like nowadays. Of course, the disease itself not like nowadays. So this is also very important topic in psychology, in general psychology. So you can pick up the Dhamma and do comparative study, as I mentioned before, or you can study purely Buddhist concept of health. So this is very useful for people in the modern world. So the last one, I just keep some of them because of the time limits of the time. Developmental psychology. Developmental psychology also we can see this concept in Buddha Dhamma, in Buddha teaching. You see, developmental psychology can mean this attempt to explain the development of human over time, both microcent as they develop from the baby to adult. As I just talking about Venerable Rahula just ago, you see when you study about the life of Venerable Rahula, you will come across when he was in young age, how to cope with him, how to teach him, how to train him. When he is in the middle age, what kind of words, what kind of philosophy you are going to give it to him to make him understand according to his cognitive perception. So when you study about Venerable Rahula, you will come across developmental psychology is there. This is also very important because as a human being, we have to study the whole life. That means we call lifelong learning in psychology terms. So you guys can pick up this subject, and when you study this subject, very useful for human being, whether any kinds of human being, I mean accident, any kinds of break, any kinds of human being, you can study the concept of developmental psychology, looking at from the Buddhist point of view and sharing with the world that it may be benefits for us and of course for others, those who want to, those who doing lifelong learning or for the benefits of mental and physical. So when you come to meditation, that is endless list. So I'm not going to talk about it. You can pick up Buddhist meditation, apply to any area of psychology, cognitive psychology or counseling, any kinds of general psychology, one way or another, they're related to mindfulness or meditation. So this is very wide range and very wide topic to discuss and to study, endless topic to study. So that's all. I just pick up some important topics and introduce to you people to, if you are interested in the psychology, you can pick up this topic and study it. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you will get some sources or some information from my talking, or I hope you will understand my talking, or you will receive some information or some doubts or some understand. So yeah, that's all what I would like to share with you people. So if you have any question or any suggestion, or you want to share, or you want to ask, you can ask, or you can share, you can ask, you can share with me, you can ask something, or you can ask some question, or yeah, I'm welcome. How much you understand?
Yes, Namchang, our moderator.
Yes, thank you very much, Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar, for enlightening us the wonderful topic today, general Buddhist psychology. We have got lots of knowledge and useful information that you have given our club members through your presentation. I believe that all participants and members here have understood clearly and fully about prominent features of psychology, about psychology concept of my basic knowledge of my as well. I give our practical example in the light, and how to transfer regarding psychology pass to the emotion. For your view, for number 2 is the root of psychology. We also more understand nature of dukkha, origin of dukkha, how to stop the suffering, and the way to end suffering. Moreover, for number 2, also do this way to solve difficulty problems in the life. In addition, we use meditation for conquering and suffering, stress, anxiety, and moreover, we also more understand the bands of psychologists. For example, social psychologists, biopsychologists, clinical psychologists, and so on. And once again, thank you, Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami. And now it's time for us to welcome to question and answer session. Anyone who wants to ask our chief guest, kindly open your minds and feel free to ask. The hashtag please or question are warmly welcome in this session, please. The first person, Đức Ngộ, please.
Dear Master, you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You talk about for number trust. Yeah, I want to ask you what the dukkha and what is the suffering, and the Buddhism and the disciples which talk of the suffering. Okay.
As I understand your question, if I understand correctly, the term dukkha or the term suffering, of course, we are talking about Pali term or Sanskrit. The term dukkha is very wide. When you study the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, they define as an age, old age, staying with a disliked person, etc. That there is there is a legal term or technical term there already mentioned in the Dhammasami Sutta. But as a Buddhist psychologist, I want to go out the Dhammasami Sutta context and talking depending on the modern concept, I mean general psychology. Dukkha here means when in Western psychology or in general psychology, they define as depression, anger, anxiety, suicidal, fear, many things. Stress also, that is dukkha according to them. Of course, in Buddhism, we do not have that kind of term, but the concept is already there. So when you study psychology, or whether Buddhist psychology or general psychology, you have to pick up this term and study them. Anger, for example, or stress, for example, or anxiety, for example. You can pick up anger and study. When this is also dukkha, you know how suffer you are when you're angry person. Everybody already have experience how suffer physically, mentally, how suffer we are when the anger is in us. First of all, when you study, or when you look at from medical point of view, our lung, our emotion, our blood, the person who has high blood pressure can die within a few minutes. Those who have heart attack disease also can die within a few minutes. Or physically change, mentally change, how suffer we are. This is dukkha or suffering. Whether we Buddhists have a term as anger or not, we have dukkha, dosa. So when you study psychology or Buddhist psychology or Western psychology, you have to pick up one topic or one concept such as anger. And then, you can study anger, looking at from the medical point of view, looking at from the psychological point of view, looking at from the Buddhist concept point of view. In Buddhist text, there are many sutra and that are talking about how best the anger can affect our body, our physical and mental. So when you study psychology, mostly they are based on the experimental study. That means they use microscopes and try to study our brain, our heart, our physical, the whole body, how anger impacts your physical. So to make a summarize, in the context of dukkha, there are many terms, many concepts. That is what I understand. If I'm not wrong, based on your question, you would like to know the range of dukkha or suffering. Thank you.
Yes, besides that, what Buddhism claims that experiences which are apparently pleasurable are ultimately state of the suffering.
Can you repeat again, please? Can you repeat?
Whether the Buddhism claims that experiences which are apparently pleasurable are ultimately state of the suffering.
Because of my tone is a little bit lower, boy. Can you repeat again? Not because of your English, because of my. Now I use phone, not computer. So now I look at closely. Can you repeat again, please? whether the Buddha blame the anger or dukkha. What did you say? Hello, can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I hear.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Please, yeah.
Yeah, what does Buddhism claim that appearances which are apparently pleasurable are ultimately state of suffering? Are you understand this?
Let me illustrate is you mean hang on. I'm going to repeat your question. Okay, hang on. You mentioned that you said that how much we blame the anger is not good, even though the anger is still there. Something like that. If I'm not wrong. Hello.
Yes.
I cannot hear you. You can hear me? Hello? Bande?
Yes.
I cannot hear that vulnerable. What? Can you repeat his question again?
Okay, next question. Who is please?
Can you share with me the way how can we apply the Four Noble Truths in our everyday life?
Oh, that is a very good question. Thank you. So this is very interesting and very important question. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. That's why I almost Buddhist scholar, even the Buddha himself, emphasize the Four Noble Truths. When you study the sutra, you will come across finally one way or another related to Four Noble Truths, because this is very important. This is whether you belong to Mahayana tradition or Vajrayana or Theravada or any sect. The Four Noble Truths is the fundamental teaching of all sects. The Four Noble Truths is there. So as I just mentioned, even the doctor, even the medical people, when they examine the patient, they base on the Four Noble Truths I already mentioned. Because first of all, as a doctor, as a medical volunteer, as a doctor, let's say, as a doctor, first of all, when they meet the patient or the client, first of all, what they do is they try to examine, they try to understand what is disease, what disease. That is the first thing they do. So after that, they try to understand the cause of disease. What is the cause of disease? That is number two they do. Number three, is there way to cope with this disease? How can we cure it? That is number three, what the doctor do. The final one, what the doctor does is, what is medicine for this? That is what he tried to understand. And psychologically speaking, when you apply Four Noble Truths in daily life, so whether at home or whether at the office or whether at the working place or whether at the monastery or whether the university, we facing problem, we facing difficulty every day. Whether small problem or small difficulty or small problem or big problem, this is we facing every day, everywhere in our daily life. So when we try to solve the problem, first of all, what we do is we try to understand the cause of why happened to us, why, what happened here, why, what is the reason, what is the cause, what is the, the reason. So, and then we try to understand the problem, and then we accept we have the problem as our monastery. But of course, this problem is what is the cause? Again, is there a way to solve it? How can we stop it? Of course, there is a way. There is a way how to stop it. What is the methods? What is the methods? What is the tool? What is the tool? What is the solution to cope with this problem? So this is, we can apply Four Noble Truths everywhere to solve the problem, to solve our difficulty. Even the doctor use Four Noble Truths for curing the patient. So from my point of view, of course, from the Buddhist text or from my point of view, we can apply Four Noble Truths everywhere to solve the problem, to solve difficulty, to solve our mentally. That is what I understand. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Venerable. And the last question là Dhammasami Lingim, please.
Yes, dearness, in Pali, acumen, with acumen, analyze human psychology. Yes.
You mean, can you say again, please? Can you repeat again, please?
Yes, in Pali, acumen, with acumen, analyze human psychology.
Or you, can I repeat your question? You mean in Sutra, which Sutta is related to human psychology, something like this? Human psychology or developmental psychology, human, but I can understand your question, but what I don't understand is a human being or human psychology. I don't understand here. To human being or human psychology. Can you repeat again, please?
Yes.
Chị Liên Nghiêm lặp lại câu hỏi đi chị Liên Nghiêm. Yes, next, the next. Liên Thiện, please.
Good afternoon, Master.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say thank you for your interesting about presentation. It's very exciting. I want to ask you, how can I apply Buddhist psychology to the practice meditation?
To what?
In the meditation, how can I make to apply Buddhist psychology in the meditation?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for important question. Earlier, I just mentioned in general psychology, there are many branches under the umbrella of psychology. There are many branches, many branches of psychology. I already mentioned. Even there are many psychological branches, but finally, or one way or another, they cannot escape meditation or mindfulness or meditation, almost all branches of psychology, they take mindfulness as a tool for final healing or counseling the client and people. But come back to related to meditation. When the tool is very similar or vulnerable, when you study the mindfulness therapy, mindfulness-based cognitive, mindfulness-based stress management or something like that, there are many topics, but they also have their own methods, even though very similar to Buddhist concept. First of all, what they try to do is they ask the client to stop thinking, and then observing, and then analyzing without just watching, without judgment, and analyzing anything, and then observing again and again, and try to calm down your mind. That is very similar to a Buddhist concept, but some scholars, some psychology scholars, they create their own methods and they apply to their client according to the situation, according to the place, according to the country, and very similar to Buddhist concept of meditation. First of all, they try to calm down people and stop thinking, observing without judgment, etc. There are several methods, but very similar to Buddhist, of course. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable. Last question, Van Thịnh, please. Van Thịnh, please. Give out,
Okay,
please.
wait for me a minute. My question is, why do you say the Four Noble Truths is the root of the Buddhist psychology?
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, why do you say the Four Noble Truths is the root of the Buddhist psychology?
Oh, yeah, very good question. Thank you. Thank you. Very good question. I already mentioned, let me repeat again what I just mentioned just ago. When you study the concept of general psychology or the Western psychology, you will come across the methods, the tool, how they try to solve the problem, how they try to counseling people. So first of all, they try to examine the problem, the difficulty, the emotion, and then they try to understand the cause and what is the reason, the cause, the roots of the problem, the roots of suffering, and they try to find the tool how to cure, whether we can cure this suffering or not. That is what they try to do. Finally, they will find the tool for you how to cope with your mental and physical problem and difficulty. That is what general psychology do. That is what Western psychology do. So when you study the nature of Four Noble Truths, you will see similarity there, because the first Noble Truth is talking about human dukkha, human suffering. You see, then the second Noble Truth about samudaya. What is the cause of this? Why happened? Why this happened? Try to understand the roots of dukkha, the cause of dukkha. Then can we stop the dukkha, this suffering? Of course, that is nibbana, the Buddha said. And then what is the tool? What is the past? That is noble eightfold path. That is the past, how to cope with the dukkha and suffering. When you study the nature of the principle of psychology and the fundamental teaching of the Buddha, especially Four Noble Truths, you can see similar there. You can see similarity there. The nature of how to define the problem and how to cope with them, very similar. That's why not only me, many Buddhist scholars, of course, many Buddhist psychology scholars, and of course me, and we. That's why we try to define Four Noble Truths as a rules for study Buddhist psychology. That is what that is what our opinion. Yeah, Bante, thank you for your question.
Thank you, Venerable. Thiên Chánh, please.
Hello, sir.
Oh, hello.
Can you show me how to give the advice when I miss a person who does not believe in the Buddhism?
Can you repeat again, please? My tone is not very clear.
Can you show me how to give the advice when I miss a person who does not believe in the Buddhism?
Can I show you Can I tell you that what? You can write a question and ask the founder director send message to me. I can read them now. You can write a letter and send through SMS now if you want to. Because my tone is not very clear. If you like, I mean. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, can you repeat again, please? Hello?
Hello.
I'm listening.
Thiên Chánh đọc lại câu hỏi đi chị.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yes. Can you show me how to give the advice?
How to gain or how to? Can you repeat to me? Can you
Advice.
for me?
Advice. Give our advice. Your opinions. About if the person who don't believe Buddhism.
Oh, you mean as a Buddhist psychologist, how can I counseling people who do not believe in Buddhism or something like that? How to counseling non-Buddhists? You mean like this?
Yes, yes.
Very good question. Yeah, this is a very important question. You should know. As a Buddhist monk and nun, when we patient or when we counseling non-Buddhists, very important. Me, I stay outside Burma almost 3 decades. I stay in Indonesia, in America, Korea, Europe, UK, even the Islam country, Muslim country also. In Indonesia, I stayed there 3.5 years. I'm teaching Buddhist psychology there. So, yeah, but as for me, when I go permissionally, whenever I meet people, I meet a person, whether they are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, I don't try to give a Dhamma talk. I don't try to persuade people first. First of all, I'm approaching them. I want to, if they want to know about me, I will tell them about me. I will introduce myself to them, who I am, what I am doing. So by listening to this, by knowing about me as a Buddhist psychologist, if they believe in me, if they want my help, they were approaching to me. They will come to me. Oh, you are Buddhist monk. You are doing this. You are doing counseling. I also want to hear Buddhist counseling, Buddhist advice from you. Can you tell me? Can you guide me? Something like that. When they approaching me, I do. Otherwise, I'm not going. Whenever I meet people, whether they are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, come. I telling you something. No, that's kind of that. So whether they are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, they were approaching you first. If they are interested in, if they're interested in your counseling, your advice, they were approaching you, they will come to you and ask your advice. At the time, what we have, what we can, we do our best to give a suggestion to counseling them, whether they are Buddhist or non-Buddhist. But one thing, whether you are Buddhist counselor or Buddhist psychologist, or whether you are Buddhist missionary, when you go to other country, you have to study about their culture, about their way of living. If we don't know anything about their culture and the way of living, we can't counseling them effectively. Effectively, we cannot counseling them. First of all, if you go to America, or if you want to counseling American, you have to know his background or her background. Otherwise, you cannot counseling people effectively. That is what all psychologists, all counselors, all psychotherapists, they study a lot about culture, about Vietnam culture. If I go to Vietnam, I have to study about your culture, how to behave, what your mindset, etc. Otherwise, I cannot cope with you properly. That is what we are doing. To summarize your question, we don't counseling people without their asking, without their approaching. So this is a very important, very important question. Thank you, Wen, for your question.
Yes, thank you, Venerable. Next person, Nhật Thiện, please.
Hey, good afternoon, Master.
Good afternoon.
Nice to meet Master here. Can I ask why is it said that meditation can cure suffering, stress, and anxiety?
Why meditation can cure anxiety and
stress?
Oh, yeah, stress.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. That is very important question also. When you study the nature of stress or anxiety, whatever, or anger or anxiety or stress, just say stress. You know, when you feel stress or when you have stress, your emotion not balanced. You know, your thinking mind is not clear. So your physical also change. So physically, mentally not balanced, and also not your thinking also not clear. So at the time, whatever you do, whatever you speak, or whatever you do, there are some problem there. When you make a decision, because your mind is not clear, not balancing. When you make, as a leader of the group, when you make a decision, personally or a group, or when you make a decision, can have many problem, many mistakes. I mean, so the nature of physical, I mean, people who have the stress, you know, the lung, the stomach, everywhere, you know, you feel pain and not comfortable. So when you do meditation, when you do mindfulness meditation, that as you already know, that try to calm down your physical, your mental, whether you are whether you're angry or whether you have angry, whether you have anxiety, whether you have stress, whatever, the nature is very similar. So they try to calm down your physical as well as mental. At the time your thoughts, your thinking become clear. Your physical body also calm down. You feel comfortable. You don't feel stomach ache. When you feel stressed, you know, sometimes, you know, you want to go to toilet, you feel stomach ache, headache, something like that physically. You know, when you try the meditation, the mindfulness can help calm down your physical and mental. That's why the mindfulness, that's why I said earlier, all branches of psychology, one way or another, finally they deal with mindfulness. They use mindfulness as a tool for coping with the final one. Even this is no doubt for Buddhists. Yeah, thank you, Bante. Thank you for your question. Very important.
Yeah, thank you.
Liên Lạc, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, today I feel very happy and great admiration for what Venerable had contributed to Buddhism. Besides, Venerable had published many books. Yes. Today I have a question for you. Can you say about application of mindfulness in psychotherapy?
Yeah, this is very interesting question, and also very wide range or very big topic. But first of all, before I begin, I just want to show you. Can you see the title of this book? I have with me now. Can you see? Can you read? Can you read? The Handbook of Mindfulness.
Yes.
The Handbook of Happiness. This is published by, this is academic book. This is research done on mindfulness, published by Oxford University. Very thick book, you see, very thick book. This is the Handbook of Mindfulness. In this book, they study from different angles. From different angle. So to answer, to discuss with your topic, very big topic, I just suggested you to read this book and other book. This is the handbook, academic book, very useful for people who want to study psychology or mindfulness, or yeah, this is very good for you. I suggest this book. There are many books, very big topic and very interesting also. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Venerable. Have question from Đức Ngộ. Đức Ngộ, please.
What again, dear master?
Yeah.
Are you hear me? Are you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Yes, master. Nowadays, Monsignor only learn anything causes many subjects. Besides that, they don't usually practice meditation, chanting, sutta, or don't keep a standard of the morality. Yeah, when opposite with suffering, unhappy, so and so, they don't keep plan. Yeah. By the way, what could you advise for them?
I will repeat your question. If I'm according to my understanding, you said nowadays many monks and nuns study a lot of things, but not applying into daily life. Something like that.
Yeah, learn anything. Cause many decide that they don't usually practice meditation, chanting the sutta, don't keep the standard of the morality. Yeah. When opposite with the suffering and happy, they don't keep plan. Yeah. By the way, what could you advise for them?
This is very interesting and very good question as well. But I'm not going to give any suggestion to you or to those people. Even I just talk about the nature of looking at from the psychological point of view and looking at from the Buddhist Dhamma point of view, what they're talking about this. There is also a saying, philosophy without action is no useful. Action without philosophy also not very useful, they says. These are both are correct. You see, both are correct. You follow me? Philosophy without action is not useful, not very useful. Action without philosophy also not very useful. So this is a saying. Some to make your stress calm down. Praying also one method can help, but not very effective. I mean, I'm talking about from the psychological point of view and Buddhist context point of view. Praying can help, but not very effectively. Even the Buddha himself mentioned that peace, love, those respect, those kind of things you cannot get from praying. You can get from practicing. If you want respect from me, you have to give your respect first. If you want to give metta or loving kindness from me, you have to give me first. This is, you can't get from praying, or you cannot get from chanting sutta. You are right. That is what sutta is mentioned. I think you can get my message. I think I don't want to illustrate big figure here. Thank you, Bande.
Yes, thank you, Venerable. Dhammasita Như Hiền, please.
Thank you, Thong Sanh Thong Chân. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Master. First of all, I would like to give my grateful thanks to you about your interesting topic today. And now I would like to have a question for you. As you mentioned about the concept of psychology, about developmental psychology. Nowadays, as we know, there are many people have depression disease in the world. Can you share us how to apply Buddha teaching to help them to overcome this disease? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. This is very important as well as interesting topic. Yeah, depression nowadays is one of the big topic in psychology. Of course, almost every one of us facing almost in daily life depression. Talking from the psychological point of view, there are two kinds of depression. Depression and depression disorder. Depression and depression disorder. Depression, normal depression is that's almost all of us, almost, I mean not all of us, almost all of us facing in daily life. When you facing difficulty and when you have the problem, you cannot solve properly, at the time depression arises in your mind. Of course, within 1 hour, 2 hours, within 1 day, 2 days, within all sometimes 1 week, that's all normal. Depression disappear. This is normal. This is common to many people. But the other thing, depression disorder, this depression is not normal. You know, you may come across some people when they're facing the problem, when they're having difficulty, when they can't solve the problem properly, they feel depression, they have depression, but their depression is continue 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, something like this. But that's kind of depression psychologists call depression disorder, not a normal, depression disorder, not normal depression. When you come into this position, when you reach this level, depression disorder, that's very dangerous. So the counselor, the psychologist, the psychotherapist suggested you to meet the doctor or the psychiatrist or the counselor or the psychotherapist, because that's not normal depression. So you said how to apply Buddha Dhamma for depression, you mean, okay? Here, there are many methods how to cope with, there are many methods, there are many tools in Buddha Dhamma how to cope with the client, I mean depressed person. As a counselor, as a psychologist, as a psychotherapist, when we meet the client, we listening to their story, and then we can counseling them. In the sutra, you know, the story of Patanjali. Have you heard Patanjali? Yeah, in the sutra, who have lost son, daughter, and husband, and lost home, everything. Even she lost her clothes and ran into the Buddha, into the audience in front of the Buddha who listening the Dhamma. So what the Buddha, so the audience tried to stop her, but the Buddha said, no, don't stop her. Let her just pick up clothes and cover her ugly place. That's all. Let her say what she want to say. Let her express what she want to express. Let her sit down as she comfortable, something like that. So here, what I want to say is, when we counseling people, it depending on the situation and the background and the characteristics and emotion. There is no formula methods. Or if you depressed person, you have to cure them like that, counseling them like that. No, you have a depression because of you don't have money maybe. But in my case, I have depression not because of I don't have money, because of I lost my girlfriend. Okay. The cause is different here. I got depression because of I lost my girlfriend. Okay, you got the depression because of you don't have money. So when we counseling people, we have to counseling them depending on the cause and situation. So there is no formula method. Of course, there are many methods in the Buddha Dhamma, but we can apply, we have to apply according to the situation, according to the condition, according to the person, according to the individual. You follow me, Venerable? You follow me?
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your question.
Linh Hoàng, please. The last question, Linh Hoàng, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, Venerable.
Um,
I hear about you talk about depression illness. So I have one friend has depression illness.
Can you repeat again, please? You have a friend who have what? You have a friend who have what?
Yeah. I have a friend depression illness.
Or who got depression?
My friends.
Yeah. I know. Your friend.
Yes. Yes. She usually thinking negative, and I usually close and encouraging to her when she needs. And for a long time, I was affected from her negative energy. So I want to ask you, as Venerable, a depression illness difficult to detect and treat completely. If I don't have enough energy, I could not help them and were affected. So should I help them if possible?
Continue, please. Continue. Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
What can I do? Yeah. If possible, if can I do help them overcome depression illness? And I want to use. I really apply studies about Abhidhamma. So I want to ask you two questions. The mind is honestly the most powerful agent in the world is, and what will create a new world in the future?
I could not catch the last question. I could not catch the last question.
The mind is honestly the most powerful agent in the world is, and what will create the new world in the future? Create the new world in the future.
I understand, not very clear from the beginning to end. But may I repeat your question, okay? May I repeat? You listen to me, okay? Listening to me, I will repeat your question. As I understand, if I'm not wrong, number one is your friend got depression, and
yes,
she has a negative mind and negative view all the time. How to advise her? Number one, okay? Is it correct?
Yes.
Number two is, as I understand, in the modern, in the future worlds, the words coming words, the words order, the new words, how the mighty, the great power person to how to say, how to teaching them or to cope with them, or I don't know exactly this kind of question you mean?
Yeah, là what the mind is honestly the most powerful agents in the world it, and to là what will create the new world in the future?
Or you mean in the future world, what kind of a mighty person will appear? Something like that. I don't follow. Can you ask someone to talk on behalf of you? Can you ask someone talk on behalf of you? The last question, I mean, what you really want to say?
Dạ là what's the immaterial sphere refer to?
What the mighty person?
Immaterial sphere refer to?
I understand your words, the words, but I don't understand the meaning. What you want to say? I know in material thing and the mighty God or something powerful person. I understand, but I don't know what you want to say. What you mean?
Yeah.
Can I answer your first question? Can I answer your first question first? Can I answer your first question first? Because you are two questions, okay? I will answer the first question.
Two questions. Yes, two questions remains.
Okay.
Yes. Hoàng Trí, please.
Because as I told you, as I just mentioned, the way we get, the way we have depression is different, personally different background, different personality. So we to counseling your friend, what her background is, I don't know. So first of all, what you have to do is try to understand what the cause of her depression, what is her background. If you know that, even you can counseling her, I believe. For me here, I can't say anything because I don't understand her background. What is the cause of her depression? Okay, thank you for your question.
Yes, thank you, Venerable. Hoàng Trí, please.
Yes. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you, Bande.
Okay. I have a question for you. When a man understanding psychology, if they are a preacher, it's really hard for your working.
In the birth and death psychology, you mean? I can't hear properly. Can you repeat again?
When a man understanding psychology, if they are a preacher, it's really hard for their working.
I cannot hear properly. Can you put the mic close to you? Can you put the microphone close to you?
Okay. When a man understanding psychology, if they are a preacher, and share what the Buddha taught with everyone, it's really helpful for your working.
You mean if can I repeat your question? Okay. If a man who can preach the Dhamma, who can preaching the Dhamma on about death and birth, Is it can become a psychologist or counselor, something like that, you mean? Can you hear me? If someone can preaching the Dhamma, have many knowledge of the Dhamma,
Yes.
Can him or her counseling the death and birth person, something like that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, if that's so, yeah, in psychology also we have the concept. We study that the near death person, or the concept of birth. Also, we have this kind of concept. How to counseling near death person, how to consoling the near death person, something like that. We have that concept in psychology. Of course, in the Buddha teaching, we already have this kind of concept. That's why I said Buddhist psychology is earlier and important than Western psychology. You see, Venerable Sariputta and Moggallana and the other Venerable Ananda counseling the near death person. The Buddhist concept already have, but the Western just start 100 years ago. This is nothing new for Buddhists. Of course, counseling near death person is very important. Yeah, you as a Buddhist, we as a Buddhist monk and nun, whether we call ourselves counselor, psychotherapist, or counselor or psychologist, originally the nature of our doing is already psychologist, counselor. We preaching to the people according to their needs. When we meet a near-death person, we counseling them. Oh, don't worry about your family. Now you do a lot of good deeds. You will be born and good heaven. You will have many, many things, something like that. We counseling near-death person. That is what counseling, what Western psychology try to follow, try to copy Buddhist psychology, I can say. Yeah, thank you for your question, Bante. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Venerable. And the last question to Venerable. Bạn Điền, open your mic, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can you share me your experience about studying Buddhism?
About
studying Buddhism?
About study Buddhism.
Yes.
This is a very long story. This is very long story. The moderator already read my short bio to you. If you want to know more about my story, you can contact me personally, but not here. But the moderator already introduced about mindset to you. I finished my PhD from University of Beradania in Sri Lanka, and after that I went to Thailand. I used to teach at Mahajula Longon University, APEC Assumption University, and Indonesia. I teach at Buddhist University, America, and around the world, and even in Burma. This is a very long story. It have to take time, 2 hours or 1 day to talk about that. Thank you. We can keep in touch, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you for having
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Your question.
Now,
Mm.
Now may I request Brother Wang Thang to give for the thanks, brother, please.
Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. The all participants, I'm going to offer of time to all guest speaker and participants. First of all, we are very pleased to receive encouragement and interactions of more Venerable Dr. Dhammasami. Bendung Sukun of Buddhist study of faculty members and teachers to follow the pioneer club in the future of Buddhist study. For this wonderful presentation, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director, Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar, who not only accepted our official invitation as a guest speaker today, but also delivered such excellent presentation and a question on Dhamma English and technique of Buddhist tradition. Thank you very much, Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, for enlightening us the wonderful topic today. We have got a lot of knowledge and useful information that you have given all club members. Through your presentation, I believe that all participants and members here have understood clearly and fully about role and feature of the topic today. Once again, thank you so much for your excellent presentation and a question, Venerable.
Thank you. Thank you.
In a recent occasion, I would like to express the gratitude and thankfulness to my beloved member of the club and our and also of Buddhist study in London. We are not here without your support, cooperation, encouragement, and effort. I believe that with this precision weekly activity together, our world of profession of Dhamma English will be relied and united in a happy manner. Keep it together, we will be better at English in the near future. Come on, our auntie. I also would like to send my special thanks to our moderator today, Dhammasita Thongchang. I really impressed on your words and speech. Congratulations on your good performance today, sister. Last but not least, I'm thankful to all participants for joining us in the International Interacting Meeting. Welcome you all to our International Meeting next week. May you all as experience to peace and happiness in the life in the future. May you all be healthy in body, peaceful in mind, happy in life, and successful in career or spiritual path. Thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Dhammasit and Dhamma Quảng Thắng, Dhamma Brother Quảng Thắng. Now we are going to come to the last question, the last session by singing our traditional song of the club. I have right, I am home. Before that, please come to the online certificate distribution session. And now, thank you very much on a member on the club. Now, really appreciate to our guest professor because our currently organized quickly international under English and TEDx Buddhist tradition. Today's organized dialogue with our international meeting. The first, I really appreciate Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, founder and director, Institute of Buddhist Psychology, Myanmar. He also shared a wonderful knowledge to his idea of PD and psychology, backgrounds of people and how to transform that psychology under Buddhism view to develop. And once again, thank you very much to Venerable. So thank you. And I really appreciate Tu Thích Nữ Tịnh Pháp for opening speech. Well, excellent speaking because we are students as we practice speaking in our club, in our meeting. So thank you very much and congratulations to my sister. And thank you very much, Dhamma Brother Thích Quảng Thắng. And you work very well in the board of times. And thank you very much, Dhamma Brother Quảng Thắng. And the last me, Thích Nữ Thongchang, has successfully performed MC. And once again, thank you all members on Iceland for joining us in this session. Thank you and have a nice weekend to you all and see you next week. Thank you, Venerable Dhammasami. Over the mic, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Bandachi, Venerable Professor Dr. Nawkhamla Dhammasami, for your wonderful presentation today. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you
And
for
hope to
having
see
me.
you. Yeah, hope to see you next time, Bandaji. All
Yeah,
members and our students are very happy.
Yeah, may you be well and happy, Bandeji. You also
Yes.
take care nowadays because of COVID-19. Please take care. Yeah.
Okay. So now, thank you so much. I will close our section by listening and singing together our traditional song. I have arrived, I am home.
I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I am solid, I am free. I am solid, I am free. In the ultimate I dwell.